Hi, Libra. This is always an interesting time of year for Librans. It's a good time of year, actually. You know, we're in your opposite energy, which I often find when we get connected in with our opposite energy, it's a symbiotic time. It's a great reflective time. It's a great time to expand. There's a nice flow between Aries and Libra, I think. And I actually really love that polarity, the Aries-Libra polarity. I love Aries season. And I do think the energy is going to be really good. Kind of intense, though. It's confusing because we have a Mercury retrograde in Aries, 7th house. Your 7th house is getting lit up in April. The first half of April is just Libra, you know, focused in on their 7th house, their relational house, right? We have that Mercury retrograde going on in your 7th house. We have a new moon in your 7th house on the 15th. Mercury goes direct on the 15th. Chiron shows up in Aries on the 17th. There's a lot happening there, right? And you would think like that would be a little alarming to have all of this kind of like retrograde. Chiron is this wounded healer energy. You know, like we have to go deep and we have to do some homework and we have to figure out some things. That can be overwhelming. But you know, the note that I actually got for Libra this month is really beautiful. And I think it's just exactly what you guys need to hear. First of all, to feel playful and to feel lighthearted. I think that will be there. But I also think this may be a month where it feels kind of quiet. Like you don't have like the big revolutionary energies coming in and sweeping you away and shocking you and surprising you as much. But what I was saying is like, you know, with a Mercury retrograde and with Chiron coming in and wanting to heal, in that 7th house energy. And then also Taurus season is 8th house energy for you of death, transformation. You know, it's beautiful stuff. But those quieter times actually often bring deeper connection, deeper communication, deeper understanding of self and other, better communication and connection than when we have everything going direct and everything's about action all the time. I think we tend to like the idea of forward, direct energy all the time. That is all about the action and like, let's push into new territory. Let's make this stuff happen. You know, I think it's appealing. It's appealing to think that we're constantly making progress all the time and we're doing new things. But there's something really, really beautiful about retrogrades. And we do also, so we have the Mercury retrograde, which is going direct middle of the month. Then we have a Pluto retrograde starting, let me look at the date, on the 22nd in Capricorn, which is your 4th house of your internal space, right? So we have retrogrades that I think are very tender for Libra. Half my deck just fell in my lap, so excuse me. We have really tender energy for you. We have relational energy and we have home and family energy getting retrograde. And then, of course, we're moving into your house of transformation with Taurus energy. And we have a Scorpio full moon, which is in your 2nd house of your money and your finances. There's a lot of tender places being lit up this month for you guys. But I think that's exactly the power of this month for you. And even though that's all intense, I actually feel like that's exactly what's so great about it. And I feel for Libra, this sense that you guys are going to be making inroads into parts of your life that you've been wanting to make inroads in. I think this is the month that it's actually going to happen. Because instead of it being the superficial, direct, action-focused, like we're just doing it, it's happening energy, we are in much more of like, where things really actually get done is in the internal, in the mental, in the vibrational, in the energetic. That's where we actually make strides. And retrogrades help us to do that. And I think, Libra, you guys are one of the signs that are going to have the real benefit of these retrogrades in such a way that you can actually, you're going to be making huge changes in your life. And I'm shuffling away here. We're doing 3 sets of 3 as always, but I think you may be one of the signs that is actually doing a lot of this energetic work. And you're going to be one of the ones that as this month progresses and by the time we get to the end of it and we're at that Scorpio full moon, you all are going to be feeling good you're going to be feeling really good. And it may be kind of an alarming time. Like it might feel like you have a blindfold on or like you can't really see. And yet when you get to the end of this, you're going to look back and be like, whoa, I knew exactly what I was doing, which I love for you guys. I feel like you've been craving a time for that. Actually, I just looked at my notes here and the last thing I wrote up was glow up, which is, you know, one of those more recent slang terms for, you know, like makeover, energetic recharge, identity recharge, revamping, like who and what and where you are. And I'm really curious to see what these cards, I haven't turned them over yet. Yeah. Yes. It is a revamp. And it is a revamp. And you guys, I'm looking at these energies and it's like, you have a lot going on. But it's great. It's great. Here's the thing that I was saying. It's like sometimes the things that we see on the ego level, on the external level, on the social level, on that direct, like when we want the planets to be direct, we want the energy to be direct all the time and focused. And it can seem like nothing's going on or that things are even slowing down or that things aren't happening. But on the soul level, you are doing so much amazing work that it's actually going to give you better results. Like much better results. Let me take a sip of my water. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about here. There's a lot happening. Now with Chiron being in your 7th house, I'm going to say right now, some of you may be feeling your relationships to those one-on-one relationships you have, whether that's romance or close friendships, close family relationships, those relationships where you sit down with the person and you talk with them, you know, you might find you are hitting into some very dense, intense territory, right? I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here because we have the 3 of Wands, the 7 of Swords, and the King of Wands. All in all, there's a lot happening here. We have you making strides forward, right? You see exactly what you want. It's coming into focus. The ships are coming in. There's a little distrust though here, you guys. I think you guys are going to get nervous. See, what I'm seeing here around the 7 of Swords is really intense fire energy. Now, fire and air, you know, have a nice symbiotic relationship. They get along very well. And like I said, Aries season is a great time for you guys. It's a beautiful time for you guys. Energetically, it works for you guys in so many ways, but it's also your mirror. So it's dualistic and it will tend to do both things at once. It will make you want to be out there meeting, doing, achieving results, and it will also make you look at yourself and where you're doing things. And with this retrograde in your 7th house, and with this and then with Chiron coming into your 7th house, there's multiple levels going on here with you guys. That's what I'm saying. That's where your ace is actually sitting this month. So you're getting answers. You're getting results. Something's coming in here. Ships coming into the harbor, right? And it has to do with this King of Wands. This dominant, intense energy. You know, I always like, you know, any of the fire signs, when they're in their full stride, often come the King of Wands, a little bit arrogant, a little bit over the top, very focused, very driven, stubborn. You know, you may be dealing with somebody like that, and it's bringing up fears, worries, doubts. For me, the 7 of Swords so much is nervousness. All your deepest fears. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen if you really care about somebody and you show them? That they'll sneak off in the night. That they won't be honest. That they won't show up for you. Like, you could be feeling this way. You could be feeling like sneaking out the back door. Because this is all like deep commitment stuff right here. Like, this is committing to a project, an action, a person on a level that is very legitimate. Like, let's do this. And when the 7 of Swords shows up, it's always this secret desire to want to slip out the back door without anybody noticing. Right? Yeah. Like, maybe nobody will notice if I feel scared or uncertain, right? When we feel the most afraid, the most uncertain, the most desirous of sneaking out the back door, that tends to be the time when things are the most real. When things are the most poignant, when things actually are hitting at what we really want. That's when we want to run. Just going to put that out there. And there's a culminating point here. When I show you these next 3 cards, promise me you're going to take a deep breath. The Tower, 7 of Pentacles, Page of Wands. This is so perfect, actually, because I think we all think the world works in this catastrophic way. Sometimes we have a tendency to believe that the worst is yet to come. The other shoe is going to drop, right? Here's the thing with the Tower, though. It topples old power dynamics. It frees people from things that are imprisoning them. Think about the Tower. Like, the concept of the Tower is power structures. In London, the Tower of London, it's a prison that held different monarchs and political figures and dissenters for centuries, including Queen Elizabeth I, before she became queen. And the Tower represents oppression, right? The Tower itself. The Tower card represents the cleansing and the release of that feeling of being imprisoned. And honestly, this is your deepest prison right here, is the desire to run and hide when something is really real to you guys. And the Tower is going to light it up. Like when you have one of those crazy lightning storms where every time the lightning, you can see everything in the house or on the landscape, even though it's really dark out. This will light up anything that needs to be. And that's where Chiron comes in, because Chiron will light up where you have wounds that you are like allowing to fester just so you don't have to keep moving forward. And it's going to say, let's heal that. Let's clear it out. Let's cauterize it. Tower is cauterizing energy. It gets a bad rap, but honestly, this is the kind of thing where it's like you have something that's bleeding and you need to stanch that. It's like this will just take care of it. Could be a conversation you need to have. It could be a piece of information you need to get. It could be a piece of yourself. Like this could just be as beautiful as a meditation or a ritual that you do at home for yourself, or a hot bath that makes you say, oh, and it frees you. And what does that do for you? It brings in such great energy. So part of this Tower energy, actually, now that I'm looking at it, is that we're integrating something. We have another 7. Second 7 in a row. And actually these 7s came out like this on my table. One is the desire to flee mentally. Get out of there, sneak out the back door with the goods, and get out. This one is the slow down. Wait, maybe you should stop. Look at what's going on in this process. Figure out what you want to keep working on and what you want to leave behind, and take a more grounded view of it. Taking that slow down view of it is going to actually bring better results, because the Page is a fresh beginning. So if you look at these 3 cards in order, we have the big realization, the lightning strike moment where you realize something. The time to assess. Instead of running, assess. And then your new beginning, your new flame. And that's what I was talking about when I said that sometimes deeper connections come out of these retrograde periods. Sometimes the retrograde periods are where we actually get the person we want, the relationship we want, the work breakthrough we want, the living situation we want. It comes from us having to slow down and hang with it for a minute hang with the difficult conversation, not run away from it. And, you know, it's like an exfoliation. That's exactly the word I would use to describe what I'm seeing here, is like you guys are getting a bit of an exfoliation, the glow up. You know, you're going into one of those like really great Moroccan spas where they exfoliate your whole body really thoroughly so that you have just like a fresh layer of skin. But it's a little uncomfortable because you're getting all the old off. You're getting all the old perceptions off. You're getting all the old issues out and in the open, and you're breathing life into them. And that is meaning that you are getting way deeper connections, like way deeper connections. But it's in the discomfort that you're getting your insights this month. And it's not scary discomfort. This isn't catastrophic discomfort. This is the discomfort of just having to sit through something and face up to maybe a misunderstanding that's been going on. Honestly, I see a lot of you having, in this energy, the way it's coming out, is like two people or situations where everybody has a different viewpoint of what's actually going on. And if you just sat down and like connected, you would realize that you each had a viewpoint and it was a little bit off. Now let's look at the last three cards as we head into Taurus season. As we head into your 8th house of transformation energetically, we have some really practical energy coming in that I think will actually help you to, after this big moment of sitting through the discomfort and getting a new skin put on and feeling and getting a green light of some kind, we get some really practical energy that I think is really important for you guys. So we have the Devil, the 6 of Pentacles, and the Queen of Wands. Some of you may be dealing with either a Capricorn or a Leo. It's possible. However, what I see here is your personal journey continued. There's a need for balance here, which I know, Libra, you guys are all supposed to be the balance card, but that's whatever the archetype is for kind of our sun sign or rising sign, all the signs. It's normally the lesson we need to learn the most. It's normally not actually what we already have coming into the world. It's what we're striving toward. And the Devil makes me think that some of you are feeling very chained up by something. And it's bothering you. Like, that's why we're having the Tower. That's why we're having these 7s showing up in the way that they are. There's a sense that you feel that you are giving too much. Because it's next to the 6 of Pentacles, and that is all about calibration. That is all about, where are you giving too much? Where are you taking too much? Where are you not expressing where you need things to be? Because the Devil, to me, is also that suppression of not saying what you really need. Like, if you have something you deeply need, I feel like a lot of you, you're instead of just saying, I deeply need you to acknowledge this pain or this fear that I have, a lot of you are wanting to run, wanting to burn. But what this is telling me is, if you just express this, express how much you need this recognition from somebody, it'll be great. In fact, I think the results will be even better. That's why I keep saying, like, these retrograde things that are happening for you and where they're happening, they're all saying, like, if you just say what you need to say, if you share that deeply vulnerable part of yourselves, because Libras, I know how vulnerable you are. Like, you are extremely vulnerable, and it's really hard for you to share that vulnerability in a completely open, exposed way. Because you're worried that people will abandon you. You worry that people will not see you for who you are, what you're trying to say. You worry that people will think it's silly. But when I see these calibration cards of you needing to share what it is that you need, the Queen of Wands comes up. And yes, this is fire sign energy. However, what this is even more is knowing your power and being okay with it. Being okay to sit in that throne and be patient with it. Everything will be okay. I know that's hard to believe sometimes when we're being asked to share our deepest self. It goes deep. But this is exactly where you're going to get the deeper commitment. I look at all these cards and I look at the different pathways you can choose, because the way that this reading came out, there's like 3 different pathways. And a couple of them could go together. You can run and you can hide and you can deny that you need something from somebody. You can sit and you can assess and you can allow the shift to come through. And you can also openly advocate for what you need in a direct fashion. And what's really interesting is the outcome for each layer of this reading is actually a fire sign, now that I'm realizing this. So a lot of you are dealing with fire signs. You are dealing with people who are stubborn, who have a sense of what they want to be doing and how they want to be going about it. You may be shy about sharing. For some of you, I think this is a shyness about sharing feelings you have for somebody. You're worried you're going to get ridiculed and ignored. You're worried that if you share this secret, it's going to blow up in your face, but I don't see that. Thing with these fire signs, Queen, Page, King, all 3, they have a good sense of self. If you tell them something that you need, they're not going to suddenly dissipate into a cloud of smoke. They're going to say, okay, I hear what you need. Here's who I am. This is what I need. It might really surprise you how big of a result you're going to get from these conversations and how much other people can really hold their own space and acknowledge yours. But it's kind of this choice between you keeping yourself imprisoned and freeing yourself. And I think a lot of you, it's scary either way. But what I'm seeing here is that the best option is to be open. I hope that's so helpful for you, Libra. That's some heavy, heavy stuff right there. But I mean, that's the thing. Don't take it too seriously, because all of it's going to work out. We need to restructure. You guys need to restructure. It's time. I am so lucky to work with some of the most beautiful human beings in the world. PinkLune is just doing some beautiful things. Look at this. This agate slice is just out of control. And my friend Jill does the most beautiful artwork you can imagine. Her mandalas are just fantastic. Check out all the info below in the description box, because the reason that I even talk about these women is because I love them and they are a part of my tribe, and it matters to me that we all connect, and the work that we share with each other in this world is so important. But with that being said, I am going to leave my website, my email below. I will be doing sessions this April, and I would love to work with some beautiful Librans who are working through this deep energy. I love you all so much. Have a beautiful April. Don't get alarmed when things get quiet. Don't get alarmed when you feel that little kickback inside of yourself that says hide, because it's okay. It's okay.